Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Everyone's already on mute. All right. Hey, Trisha, Colleen, Joanne, Christy, Stace, Kylie, Melissa, Elise with the live video I saw, Irene, Patricia. All right. Amanda, there she is coming in from Baltimore. Hi. All right, I was just on the phone with Kelly, so we're going to give her a second, the Zoom phone. Hi, Kim. It's okay, sweetheart. All right. It's downstairs. It's okay. You can just leave it there, sweetie. It's okay. It's okay. I'll take it down. Okay. All right, who is ready to talk about social media? Oh, good. Kelly's on. Elsa, honey, can you close my door when you're done? Thank goodness my husband's home to put all the kids to bed. Okay. Hi, everybody. Kel, can you hear me?
I'm here, yes. Can you hear me?
Woo! I gotta turn my volume down.
Sorry, I know. David has to put pillows on the door underneath the cracks because I'm across the house. I keep the kids up.
Awesome. Okay, 8:32. Let's get started. Kel, floor is yours, girl.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to see all of you. And the homework has been so amazing. Seeing you guys all on fire, going live, stepping out of your comfort zone. I know it's not easy because it's never easy for me. Going live in smaller groups, piece of cake. Going live on my personal page, where I have everyone from my pastor to people I went to high school with that were not that into me, to people that in my mom's group, to my kids' teachers. So it's I have the gamut there. So I know what it feels like to have to talk to all those people. So one thing I would suggest is choose one person that you're thinking about when you're talking to. I like to think of the Kelly that I was in 2013, and then I just talk to her, and I keep all those other people out of my head. So just know that you do not have to report to Tracy or I about any things that come up, or you're not be able to be on a call, or you can't do your homework because of XYZ, because you have to think of yourself as your own boss. So if you show up for work, then you're showing up for work for yourself. And if you don't show up, then you're not showing up for yourself as well. So the only difference between me and you and Tracy and you is that we've been doing this longer. So we're literally paving the way and showing you the path of how to get where we think you want to go based on what you've told us. Going fast, going slow, whatever pace is okay with you. And then we do, and then we detach, and that's your path. So we just want to reiterate that because we're getting a lot of messages. We can't because, and I just want you to take that hierarchy thinking out of your brain. And when you take that hierarchy thinking out of your brain, that's when the guns start blazing, because it's so empowering. Is that about right, Trace?
Yes. So I think the gist of it is we also made the choice, Kelly and I did, that we're not responding to messages that say hey, I'm sorry I couldn't make the call because, or hey, I'm not going to be on the call tonight because. Not to be mean, but if we were to respond to every single one of those messages we're getting, it would take time away from the group where we could be putting thoughts and energy into being proactive. With that being said, we did hire a virtual admin to basically give us a quick sheet on Wednesdays. So what we're going to do going forward is this virtual admin basically goes through the group, and she will say Elise, for example, and she'll see if Elise did all 3 homeworks, and she'll see if Elise logged that she was on the call. And if Elise did all those things, it's boom, 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 and Elise is good. If Elise is missing any of the homework, the virtual admin is just going to take Elise out of the group. So the reason that we're doing it that way is so that this group stays with people who are serious about it, who really want to do the actions that we're saying, because as you guys will hear from Brooke next week, we can either sit and consume, or we can sit and create. And consuming is what we're doing right now in this call. We're about ready to share best practices on social media. And it might feel like we're actually taking action in our business, but until we hang up from the Zoom and go create content on our own social media pages, we're not creating. So we want to work with all the creators. So the ones that are sort of in here kind of doing it, kind of not doing it, virtual admin is going to be pulling people out of the group. So that way all of our energy can be put forward to the ones that are ready to move their business forward. Okay? Everyone good on that? All right, cool. Okay, so we're going to go grab bag style, and Kelly's going to go first. and pull a name out of the hat. And we want to hear what your best practices are. And then if you have something to add to that best practice, let's just have sort of a mastermind group right now going around so that we can kind of spend the next 20 minutes talking about what's working for everybody.
And so I'm going to start off by saying real quick what's working for me and kind of show you what we're looking for. And I want you to write down other people's ideas, because one of the greatest things when I was a teacher is we spent a whole day and we walked around other classrooms and saw, even though they were our coworkers, we never actually got to see them teach, and we never got to see what was going on. And during that day, we all shared best practices, and that was so powerful. So we rise in helping others, and so we rise in teaching others too what's working for us, because you assume other people are doing it and they have no idea. Something very little is going to give you that little click in the brain, and you write it down and then you apply it. So something that really works well for me is when I go live on my personal page, that live, if it does really well and it's a good, it resonates with a lot of people, so to speak, then I use that video again and again and again. How do I do that? I repurpose that by putting it on YouTube. I will repurpose it by saving the link and then putting it in my free groups. And so every third of the month, you might see the same video that comes up, because I will say, if you're working on having sibling rivalry issues, like today we talked about sibling rivalry, and then I have this tattling idea that works. It worked great in the classroom. And so then I will say, if you're having issues with tattling, click this here. And then it will send a link to a video that I did maybe in 2014, 15, and it gets redone. It gets legs again. And so I'm telling the same story because there's constantly new people coming in, there's old people leaving. So sometimes they need to hear it over and over. So I don't have to keep saying the same thing over and over. Repurposing that video, and then it has social proof where you go to that video and there's 1,000 views versus me saying it again and having 200 views. So repurpose and reuse and use it as much as you can. You can put it in Pinterest boards and do something like that. So I'm going to call on, I have a little grab bag, my little hat here, Team Beachbody. Let's see, Julia Dussel. Julia, are you there? Are you on?
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. All right, let's try that again. All right. Amanda Bauer, Amanda Schumann. Okay. How about Kylie Simpson? This is getting awkward. Krista, are you there? Maria Milanis. All right. Right there.
New strategy.
Learn. Okay, Elise, are you here? Elise Dosick. Am I saying your name right?
Yeah, it's Elise Dosick.
Dosick, sorry.
I knew you were going to pick me. I just didn't know I'd be 7th on the list.
I didn't either. I thought it would be like, boom, sorry.
And I didn't want to go first.
Oh, I went first. That's why I went first.
Okay, well, I don't know if this is exactly what you're looking for. So I wrote down a couple of different kind of things that I'm doing on Facebook and social media. I'm assuming you guys are all doing the exact same thing, but maybe you're not. So I'll just share one thing. So I guess when I'm on Facebook and Instagram, I kind of like how I direct message people. I do based on 3 different ways. So I do it in 3 categories. So if someone just views or likes, if someone's just viewing like a video or an Insta story, and I see that they're just viewing, but they don't comment and they don't do any liking, they're just viewing it, then I am going to just message them and be like, hey, I don't know if you've seen me, very kind of vague, on Insta, whatever, Facebook, whatever I am, and I'm saying, I don't know if you've seen what I'm doing, but I'm doing this, I'd like to give you more details. If they have liked the post and I feel like they are showing me a little bit more interest, then I thank them for liking the post, and then I get into a little more detail. On those people, sometimes I'll scroll into their Facebook and kind of see what they're doing. Like if it's someone from like high school, I'll be like, oh yeah, I saw you and your kids were in Disney World. I love Disney World. Oh, and by the way, blah, blah, blah. And then if someone's commented, I've always kind of comment back, and then I get even more detailed into personal stuff, and then I kind of go into the whole thing. So, I mean, I'm sure everyone's doing the same thing, but
no, don't disclaim it. No, that's awesome. That's exactly what we're looking for. And it's sometimes like Tracy and I might say it, and then and then we're kind of like Charlie Brown's teacher, like want, 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 like we repeat. And sometimes hearing it from a different person, different perspective, different voice, different energy, all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah. A lot of times they'll go to trainings, they'll like, this is what you've been talking about for 2 years, but I had to hear Brandy Glanville say it. Oh wait, she's from Housewives. Okay, Tracy.
And you know what, Elise, I just want to say that when coaches are not hitting Success Club, the number one reason is because they're not talking to enough people. Yes. So the fact that you're even just combing through every single person that's liked your stuff, it sounds so like, right? But you can see trends by doing that. If you see that the same people are liking your stuff, then you need to change something about your network. If you see that you're starting conversations with the same people, then you need to find new people, right? But at least you're having conversations, and that is the reason that people, if they're stuck at Success Club 2, I'm always saying to them, you've got to figure out a way to talk to more people, whether that's a freemium or whether that's doing a poll on Instagram or what have you. So, all right.
It's totally true. If I could just add to that real quickly, is that sometimes I'll have like, I don't know, like 50, 100 something views. So I'm not going through and talking to 172 people. I'm not going that way. But if I see the same person not commenting, not liking, but viewing 1 live video, 2 live videos, 3, that person 100%. And I've had it happen where I've reached out more than one occasion to someone. They're like, oh my God, I'm sort of cyber stalking you. And I'm like, you are? And they're like, yeah, I'm so happy you reached out. And it's the weirdest feeling. But they're like, thank you for emailing me.
Yes, it's true. That's awesome.
Everybody's watching. And I'll have people that will say, I've been watching you for 4 years and you're still I can't believe you're still doing that. I've been watching you I'm like, I just so you know, I'm going to be doing this on 99. So you can sign up now or sign up later. It doesn't really matter. But it's just a trust thing. It's not a trust in me. It's just trust and belief. And the more they trust and believe in themselves and me, by me being consistent, then I shine that light of consistency onto them. So if I'm all over the map and I'm in, I'm out, I'm in and out, then they're going to be like, I'm in and out. I don't need a coach that's in and out too. I need someone who's steady Eddie and consistent Kelly or consistent Kathy or consistent whoever, because then I can shine that light of consistency onto them. Does that make sense? So stay flipping consistent. I can't even say that enough. Danielle Natoni always says that's her secret power, and it's so true.
True.
All right, Tracy, you get to call on someone.
I do. And just to add on that, I'm running a 3-day sneak peek into what is a Faithfully Fit challenge group. It's the first time I've ever done it. So it's basically a sneak peek for all those people that are scared to pull the trigger on a challenge group. And when I first started coaching, it was the first person I ever talked to about Shakeology. She came over to my house. I made her a shake. She loved it, but she basically sat there and told me I had just joined a pyramid scheme and never in a million years would she do it. Guess what, you guys? She's in my 3-day sneak peek. She's like, okay, I've gained 10 pounds in the past 4 years, and the fact that you're still drinking the shake and you're going on trips and you're making money, I know it's not a pyramid scheme, and I'm sorry. And so it did. It took her 4 years, but that's the whole key, that you just got to stay consistent with it. So, all right, I'm going to call on, let's see, Christy Mangan.
Oh, can you hear me?
Hi.
Yeah,
Did I butcher your last name?
No, it's Mangan. It's okay.
Hi, Christy. I'm Tracy.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Hi, you too. Let's hear your best practice.
Okay, so mine, I thought a little bit differently about this with what I was going to talk about. And what I find is, as Kelly knows, live videos have always been the thing that I have really dreaded the most. And what I found was something that I really like to talk about and that was interesting to me. And so I like to talk about healthy recipes for my family. And I have found that's kind of the thing that I get the most engagement from people on. And what I like to do is I like to do a video of the ingredients out on the counter of what I'm going to make for dinner that night. And I kind of talk a little bit about it. And then after dinner, I will or once I've made it, I will just basically post a picture and then give our review of kind of what my kids thought about it and what my husband thought about it. And then people are asking for the recipe, and people will keep coming back for those things because they obviously, who doesn't want to know what is a kid-friendly, healthier recipe that is easy to make and doesn't.
Oh, she's frozen. Is she frozen for you guys?
Yeah. She was saying some good stuff too.
She was. I was like on the edge of my seat.
I know. I was like, I know. I want some good recipes.
I want to do that too. So Christy, to piggyback on that, one thing I've been doing that you're kind of on your way to do is I'm kind of teasing people on my personal page, because sometimes I have longer videos that don't interest everybody, but I want to target the people that it does interest. So like today I said, are you having issue with your kids getting along? My kids used to argue most of the time. Now they get along most of the time. I'm going to show you how I did that. If you're interested, click this link. And then it brings them into a freemium, a free group where I go in very, very detail, step 1, step 2, step 3, what I've been doing, what's working, what wasn't working before. And it kind of brings my audience into almost like a back room. Like this is more, right. It's more like people who want more details versus like filling up their feeds. That's why I love stories so much, is because people have to choose to go see your stories. So I feel very free out there versus me kind of hijacking their feed with a 20-minute video about tattling and sibling rivalry and how to get them to get along. So you could do that because lives are hard for you. You could kind of tease them and say, if you want to see me making it, then click this link. And then you kind of have the home base for all those people. And then those are the people that are your lifers because they're clicking the link and they're opting in to seeing more.
Raise your hand if you... Hold on one second, Kelly. Raise your hand if you have a group that's like a holding tank for all of your challengers, like a Facebook group. I call it a holding tank. It's like where all of your challengers will go when a challenge group is over. It's where you run your free groups. Raise your hands high so I can see who has one. Okay, so that's what Kelly is talking about. Stacy sort of has one. She sort of has a group, sort of doesn't. So that's what Kelly's talking about, that if she's doing a live video on a bunch of food and it's like, hey, if you want to see me make this, click here. And then the people click there and it takes them to like the holding tank, which is where you're offering a little bit more value or free groups to people who have already said like, hey, I want to be a Stacy Britton follower type deal.
Right.
You know? That makes sense?
Just taking it to a deeper level. And it's kind of like a teaser, like, ooh, I want my kids to get along. Ooh, I want healthy recipes for my kids. Yes, I want to go in there. And oh, who's this Christy person? I want to get to know her better, because the feeds are so buried and so full. And then you have a targeted audience of a very small area. And then they're going to be more likely to go into that group. And then you can email them more versus like, who is that person that commented? I can't remember. It kind of like, it narrows down who your lifers are. Okay, I think I'm next to call on someone. This is fun. I love hearing from you guys. Okay, Stacy, Stace. I don't have the last name though. Got cut off.
Britton.
Hello.
Britton. Hi, Stacy.
Hi. Okay, so I was gonna say, I forgot what I was gonna say. Now I kind of went on like a different mental path. I guess one of the things that I've found is just trying to be really consistent, because social media is very hard for me. I've always been a lifelong against social media and only got on last year for this reason. So it's still been very hard for me. I've had to work really hard to get consistent with once a day posting, but that I've found a lot more people not just liking, but like random people that I didn't even know were watching, like sending me messages. So the more consistent that I've been, the more I've noticed other people like being engaged and reaching out. So I think that was an important lesson that I learned. And then there was another thing that I totally had, and I didn't have it written down, but it popped in my head while we were, nope, I don't know.
It's out. I will piggyback on that, is that I think we assume a lot of times that we are surrounded by positivity and all this personal development, and it's so not the norm, but we're ingrained in our head, do personal development. So just taking tips from Brooke and making a live video about it, like I think it was a minute and a half, not even, about time management and working against the clock, and how Brooke talks about working and Shalene talks about not multitasking, and so does Brooke. I mean, people are emailing me like, oh my gosh, I never thought of it. But because we've done so much, and it's almost like we know so much, but we don't know what we know, because it's so second nature. It's like teaching someone how to brush their teeth. We just take it for granted because we've been doing it for so long, or we do it so much. But most people aren't, and I wasn't before Beachbody. It's not a knock on it. So you have so much value in just the personal development that you're doing, and just the things that you take for granted, other people do not. So don't ever underestimate your value, and things that are working for you will work for other people. They're just not thinking about it yet. So just keep putting yourself out there, and you can actually see what resonates with other people that you take for granted and you can do in your sleep. But other people are like, whoa, oh my goodness. Like Melissa's amazing photographer. I see her pictures and her food, and she loves to cook. And I'm like salivating over that. I would kill to know how to take those pictures and cook that food. It's just not my wheelhouse. Oh, you remembered. Okay.
I remembered. So because posting on social media is not second nature to me, and I have to think about it, and I didn't want to be like, well, I don't always have something to say. I don't want to be disingenuous. One tip that really helped me was that if I've already posted once or twice and something pops into my head, to write it down and save it for a later post. And then on days when I'm like, literally I've sat around my house and done laundry and I have nothing to say to the world, I'll go back to that and recycle some of those other ideas or pictures or things. So like my mom will send me a text like, oh, I didn't realize whatever happened. I'm like, that happened like 3 weeks ago, Mom, but I just had to.
No, that's important.
So that was a really helpful thing for me to kind of generate some post ideas, was to save some of the stuff.
Yes, a lot of times I put stuff in the hopper, so to speak. So when inspiration or time is limited, then I have something in the hopper. Sometimes I'll make my post and then I'll just minimize my screen, and I'll use Chrome because I always use Safari or vice versa. So I'll use it and I'll minimize it because my creativity is like in the morning. So at night to come up with something on my phone, kids are around, distractions. So I do a lot of my posts for that day or maybe a couple of days in advance, and I'll just minimize my screen and just shut off my monitor at night, or I'll save it in a Word document. And then when it's time, I literally have it ready. I'll go online, press post, and walk away. So it doesn't always have to be at that very moment. You can have stuff in the hopper because inspiration and time will hit me at different times than it does when the rest of Facebook is quote unquote awake and alive.
And just tying it into the exercise that we just did, hopefully you guys are going to be getting into the habit of Sunday night getting your calendar ready for the week ahead. And there's nothing wrong with carving out time that is for crafting posts. I do that all the time. Sometimes I sit down to craft posts and there's no creativity happening and I don't do it. And then sometimes I am creative. Like yesterday I had a super creative day. One of the most creative days I've had in like 6 months. And I was like, I got to stick with this creativity and roll with what I'm doing. I think I did like 12 live videos in different groups because so much was happening. So you've got to be flexible too. But again, don't be surprised if we come back at you next week and we're like, hey, we're just jumping in here for like a quick hello, everybody post your calendar for the day, because it was homework from this past week, but the goal is for us to keep building on the things that we're asking you to do, because that's going to move your business forward. Before I call on the next person, I just wanted to jump in. When Christy was talking about how she sets up stuff that she's cooking for her kids, who here, and I'm going to tie it back into that in a second, but raise your hand if you've heard of what curiosity marketing is. Okay, raise your hand if you've not heard what curiosity marketing is. Okay, so let me give you an example of this. So I'm thinking about She with the kids, and I'm thinking about how my kids drink Daily Sunshine all the time, right? So there's two different ways that I could like take a picture and post about Daily Sunshine. I could either like plop the Daily Sunshine bag on the counter and take a picture of it with my kid next to him, and I've done that before, like when I was a brand new coach, and I'd be like, this is what my kid drinks. Or if I'm going with the theme of like posting food and here's some child-friendly recipes and click this link to see my stuff. You could also, I have 4 kids and I've done this post before, which is what made me think of it. I did 4 glass cups filled with Daily Sunshine, and all I said in the post was, legit, my kids have not had a sick day in 3 years because of this way that they start their day every morning. That was it. Do you guys know how many people were like, what is it? What is it? What do your kids drink? What do you make? Do you make it on your own? Is it something that you buy? Are you I was bombarded with people, and what did that do? That started conversations. So when you guys are hearing these ideas and you're thinking about what you want to post, you want to be thinking about, how can I get people to ask more questions? Take the idea out of your head that you need 10 million likes and 500 comments on every post. If you only get 1 like, but you get 6 people asking you a question about your post, you have rocked it out on that post, because now you have the opportunity to start conversations with people who are engaging with you.
Yes.
Okay.
Another example of that is this week, I wrote out my miracle morning for someone, and then I was like, this is good. I got to add to this. So I said, who wants to see my miracle morning or my morning routine that causes so much happiness on a regular basis? Who doesn't want more happiness? I had so many people to respond to because I said comment yes below. I said I said in the comments, it's long, so I don't want to, hijack your feed. And I have over 100 people that I need to reach out to and show them. And what's part of my morning routine? Oh, morning workout at home, 30 to 60 minutes every day, no matter what. Positive affirmation, energize, things like that. You see Tracy's stories every day. She's dancing, drinking her go-go juice. And if I always think of like if I'm watching her or someone else from the outside, I would be signing up so flipping fast just to get the energize. And if you have to sign someone up with the energize, like I signed up for Beachbody to get my coach's abs. Like that was what pulled me in. And now look at me, we're running calls, but it doesn't matter what brings them into this positivity of love, pretty much. It doesn't matter what brings them in, if it's energized or it's someone's abs or it's just more positivity. You have to radiate that out and let them know that this door is open to all this positivity and love. You just have to like walk in and trust it, but they have to trust you first. And you have to put it out there that this is possible.
Yes. And I never call it energize. I call it go-go juice.
Never. She never does. It makes me want to like get my energize and drink it. I'm like, is there something special about your energize? Because it looks a lot better than mine does in my sippy cup.
Yeah. People message me all the time. What is that yellow go-go juice? Okay. Last person to call on because our time's almost up. So I'm going to call on J.A. Wilson.
Jackie.
Sorry, I didn't know how to unmute.
That's okay.
So I don't know if this is exactly what you're looking for, but it was mentioned a lot tonight, but it's still important. Just consistency of doing the same thing. I've gotten off of Facebook a little bit recently over the past month for personal reasons, and I'm getting back into it. But one thing that I was consistent with since 80-day obsession started was posting my workouts every day. And just, showing my shake, go-go juice. I was calling it energized, but I like that idea of go-go juice, and just at least having those two things. And I, post my workout or 2 or 3 moves of the workout if I can. And with that, show my morning routine. Sometimes I do laundry, my pets. I just try my best to at least stick with that every single day.
And people will come and they'll say, where's the workout post? Where have you been? You don't understand how much people need us and positivity. My entire email is filled with, Kelly, I have depression, I have anxiety, I'm a nervous wreck, I'm a stressed out mom, I'm stressed. And like exercise, energize, this positivity is a stress reducer. I think because we're surrounded by it so much, we don't realize out there is so stressed and heavy, and people are dealing with a lot of heavy stuff in their life, and they need us to be their light. And we can't be their light if we don't shine our own. And then we can shine it on them and be like, listen, this is not how you have to live every single day of your life. There is hope. And we're like the guiding light, like the soap opera.
Yeah. And with consistency, the important thing too, though, is that you're constantly reinventing yourself on social media. Like you think of your social media as like if you had a store in your downtown, wherever you live, the windows are changing in the stores in Saks Fifth Avenue in New York City every 3 to 4 weeks. You've got to do the same thing. So when I'm dancing with my go-go juice, I'm changing the room. I'm changing the music. I'm using a different app. I'm using different fonts. I'm changing the lighting. I'm doing different things that make it a little bit interesting, or it gets to be, you want to be a scroll stopper, right? And if it's Tracy doing just her same workout moves every single day, that's not necessarily going to stop someone scrolling. So you just want to also be thinking about, I need to be consistent. I also need to be fresh. And I also need to be a scroll stopper. So how can I change my storefront window every couple of weeks? What can I do different? And that's where you guys can gain inspiration from each other, as long as, of course, you're making it your own. Go-go juice works for me. There's other coaches that call it like sexy mama juice. There's other coaches that call it like, they call it all different kinds of stuff, but find something. And if go-go juice works for you, you're more than welcome to use it, but you want it to be authentic to who you are, right?
Exactly. And people know when you're being authentic or when like you're quote unquote faking it. So I always say, inspire yourself first, and then that's how you're able to inspire others. And we rise in helping others. So if you are not doing personal development, doing the vital behaviors are really life behaviors. If Beachbody were to close their doors tomorrow, literally the PD workouts, nutrition would still be the same, and the recognition, all that would still be the same. The 4 vital behaviors are life behaviors. And so instead of looking like, oh my gosh, it's too much, just narrow it into the 4 vital behaviors and do it day in and day out and watch your life change. And then people are like, whoa, your life's changing. What are you doing? I want what you're having. And then you say, I'm doing the 4 vital behaviors, because they're really life behaviors. So instead of looking at all this, oh my goodness, look at the 4 vital behaviors. And I remember when I started, I was like, it has to be more than that. I kept making it more. And then Rob could tell me, it's just the 4 vitals, just the 4, stick to the basics. And I did that and zeroed in, and it didn't feel so big and like this huge wall to climb. I was like, oh, this is improving my life. I'm going to do this whether it's not with Beachbody or not Beachbody. You know, the overwhelm happens by looking at it all versus just like narrowing it down to the 4 vital behaviors.
Yes. All right, it's 9:01. We've got another call we have to jump on. However, we're going to leave you with one thing to do as soon as you hang up here. Go comment on 3 people who you don't know in the thread of this group who did a live video. Click on the link and go show some love to 3 people in this room, so that all of you guys are helping each other out, so that you're bumping posts and you're getting your conversations reignited for tonight and tomorrow. All right? And we will be posting homework again on, I always get these dates wrong, Fridays, Tuesdays, and Sundays.
Or Friday, Sunday, Tuesday.
Something like that. Yes.
Whatever. It all works.
Awesome.
All right. Love you guys. Thanks for showing up. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.